Interesting there. That's Ivor Green Street. He's flag bearer of the Convention People's Party. Let's now talk about an issue that has been worrying a lot of people for some time now, and that's cyberbullying. That's because earlier this week, if you've been following the trends, a colleague of mine here at Multimedia, Sally Gali, was trolled on social media, and some really hurtful words were used by the lady on the left. And I wouldn't want to repeat those words because I wouldn't want to be participating in that bullying. But there were really hurtful words, spoke about her looks and all. Here's what happened. Sally responded, and the lady has come to apologize. But this just brings to fore the issue of cyberbullying. I've been a victim myself. People come onto social media, say things about you which are not true, and sometimes just tarnish your image, demoralize you and all. But what really is bullying? Here's just some information I have to help you understand what bullying is. Then I'll come to have a discussion with Dr. Ruth Owusu-Entry, who is head of the psychiatry unit at the Comfort Teaching Hospital. We'll talk about the impact on victims that the bullying has on them. So quickly, here's what bullying is. So it is when someone is being hurt either by words or action on purpose, usually more than once, feels bad because of it, and has a hard time stopping what is happening to them. Now, here are the types of bullying. So we have the physical one, which is hitting, pushing and shoving, fighting, tripping, yelling at someone. Did you know that's bullying? Some of you do that in your offices a lot. Making rude gestures, taking or breaking another person's things, and that's quite extreme. But there's the other type, which is emotional, and that includes name calling. So you have in school where maybe a young child is unable to control themselves, urinates or defecates on themselves, and then you have the name calling. We make fun of somebody, laugh at somebody, or leaving someone out on purpose. So certain cliques, making the person obviously feel like they aren't part of a certain group that you belong to. So starting rumors, and this is also the emotional bit, starting rumors or telling lies about someone, sending mean messages on a computer or cell phone, and that's what my colleague experienced here, and trying to make someone feel bad about who they are. You're talking about their complexion, you're talking about their height, you're talking about a certain feature on their bodies. And so what is cyberbullying? Using technology, internet, email, cell phone, social media, pictures, to hurt or harm someone else. Cyberbullying includes sending mean text messages, posting statements online that are unkind and not true, sending or posting pictures that are not yours to share. Very important one, and this particular one, I'm sure a lot of people do not know that you're bullying someone when you do that, and making negative comments online about somebody, or agreeing with someone who posts something hurtful. So if you go and like a tweet or you like a comment which is mean or which aims to hurt somebody, you are actually participating in bullying. But here's what I want us to talk about today. For those of you who may not understand the impact of your actions, I've been joined by Dr. Ruth Owusu-Entry, who is the head of psychiatry at the Comfort Teaching Hospital. Thank you so much for joining the program, Dr. Ruth. Let's talk about the psychological impact of bullying on victims.
Thank you very much, Bernice. It cannot be overemphasized that bullying has a lot of and countless negative impact on people's psyche or the victim's psyche. Not quite long after I started my career in psychiatry, I met a young man in one of the very good schools, secondary schools in the country, who had just entered first year, or Form 1, as we would call it. And this young man, or this young gentleman, was severely undergoing bullying. The seniors were asked him to bring his provisions. They were asked him to buy credit for him. And at a point, he had emptied his locker of all his provision, and yet the demands were coming. So he had to phone his dad and actually lie that there are some new textbooks he had to buy just to get money and quickly buy some more provisions to meet the demands of these seniors who were bullying him. There were times he was asked to kneel down throughout the night without sleeping. People will just scream at him and all that. Interestingly, and not surprisingly, this young man started hearing voices. Now, these were true hallucinatory voices, and this is because even during vacation, when the seniors were not there, he could hear their voices screaming at him, shouting at him, and all that. Then this had gone on for about 3 months or so. When I heard the story and realized what actually precipitated his psychosis or his psychotic symptoms, I decided not to put him on any antipsychotics, but rather let him go through psychotherapy. Thankfully, he recovered and he has never suffered from any psychotic symptoms again. This is just one example of the extent of how bullying can affect people's mental health. If this boy had not sought help early, this could have generated into something more chronic. He would have had to be on antipsychotics for the rest of his life. There are other people who develop anxiety disorder out of bullying. They become anxious to go out into public. They feel that people will shut them down. They feel they are not worthy. Their very self-esteem is affected. They begin to shake when they have to speak up or anything because somebody has told them they are ugly. Somebody has told them that they cannot do it or they are not up to it, and etc. So,
all right.
There was several other psychiatric or psychological impact of bullying.
All right. Doc, we know the extreme bit, which is suicide. I'm sure we'll have another time to discuss that quickly. But this definitely doesn't start online, or it doesn't start in schools. It starts in the home. How do we train or help children understand that maybe there are points where you may tease your sister, laugh at her, but you need to know when you are entering the realm of bullying, which can have an impact on the person's mental health?
So you are very right, Venice. Suicide is usually the end point of all the various pathways of how bullying affects people psychologically. When they feel that they are not worth living, they are not worth humans, then they begin to feel that then it's better that they are not alive. It's better that they end it. And these things start from the home when we start teasing our siblings, teasing our friends and all that. So don't let it even start. Parents should be up to it and correct immediately when they see siblings are teasing each other, because before you realize it has affected the victim so much. I am seeing a teenager currently whose siblings were just teasing her. It's a female. She had bedwetting going on for a longer time than the rest of the siblings. And you can imagine when she has bedwet her bed by morning, it's a big hell for her. The siblings are teasing her, they are calling her names and all that. And she just thought that it's okay for her to die. She's rather dead. She's better dead than to be alive. And so right in the home, we should, as parents, watch out for these things. And the children, when they start with teasing at home, are usually those who will go out in the secondary schools and bully and tease people and call them names and all that. And even in the classrooms as well, if you see one student or some students teasing each other or teasing another person and saying that, oh, your uniform is torn, oh, you don't have a nice shoe, those little things should be quickly tackled by the people's teacher or the teachers at post, so that they don't degenerate into more severe situations.
I appreciate your time here this morning. Dr. Ruth Owusu-Antwi is head of psychiatry at the Comfort Teaching Hospital. But definitely this conversation must be had extensively at some other time. I appreciate your company because, like she's mentioning, it happens in homes, and she shared personal stories. So you know that this is not a joke.